Hello student, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. Ajit Jaiswal from Department of Anthropology, Pondicherry Central University, Puducherry. Today we are going to discuss about important modules entitled Theories of Aging under paper Biological or Physical Anthropology. In this paper we are going to learn about why do and how do we age. We also try to find out the difference between programmed and damaged theory of aging, and try to learn about the role of free radicals in aging and diseases. Before starting this particular module, so let me give you a glimpse of information about aging. Let's try to define aging. Aging is a variously defined by workers in the field of biological gerontology, like Shock in 1961 and 62 considered aging as the sum of total changes during an individual lifespan which are common to all members of his species or strain. Similarly, Edelman suggested that age is dependent on modification in the ability to synthesize certain enzyme in response to the environmental alteration, which may be a general biochemical expression of aging. Similarly, Herman in 1985 feel that aging is a progressive accumulation of changes with time associated with a responsible for the ever increasing likelihood of disease and death which accompanies advancing age. Johnson feels that aging is regarded as a normal or physiological process distinct from abnormal or pathological process. Aging is an intricate phenomena. It is characterized by progressive decline in the physiological function, increase in mortality that is often accompanied by many pathological diseases. Although aging is almost universally covered, it conserved among all organisms. The underlying molecular mechanism of aging remain largely elusive. Many theories have been proposed to understand the phenomena of aging. Anthropology and aging. While any number of people anguished over their 30th birthday and tried to hide their 40th birthday, it is with the 50th that most start to actually see themselves as beginning to be old. Every man desired to live long, but no man desired to be old. The passion that slower aging is feasible has been steadily increasing over the past 50 years due to gradual accumulation of knowledge of the effect of age on biological system and of reasonable hypotheses to account for such changes. The nature of aging process is disputed because more than one mechanism is involved. It is unlikely that a significant attempt to be slow down the aging process will be made until clear understanding is reached on the cause of this basic biological process. Aging is unequivocally universal and irreversible process, and it varies considerably within and between culture. Getting old is the result of the interplay of biological, social, psychological, and ecological factors. Human longevity, experiences, and quality of later life and vision over the old age enormously differs between religious, endogamous group, etc. Anthropologists try to understand not only the evolutionary pattern of evolution but also aim to know the variation within and between population groups in terms of health, well-being and aging. At the early part of this century, infectious diseases accounted for most of the death in human beings. With the advent of antibiotics and other advances in medical sciences, these diseases have been more or less controlled, particularly in the developed nation, and resulted in a large increase in the mean lifespan from 40 to 70 years and above. The control of infectious disease, however, has not made man immune to aging and death. Rapid changes from all walks of life that have taken place in human life has resulted in the precipitation of several metabolic diseases, that is non-communicable diseases, and hence called old age diseases. Thus, aging is a progressive accumulation of changes associated with disease and death. The role of gene and environment are the key dimensions that control specific conditions vis-a-vis aging in the population. It is hypothesized that achieving the healthy blessed lifespan is possible only if we control or delay the onset of the old age diseases. Several theories have been proposed to understand this phenomena, like description of aging. According to the description of aging, scientists and philosophers of Greece and Rome describe the process of aging in terms of biological and physiological ways. Hippocrates, Aristotle, Galen, and many others were the few who dealt with the process of aging. Aristotle, in his book on youth and old age and life and death and on respiration, presented that youth and old age as possibilities or opposites. He characterized youth as time of excess and later life as time of conservativeness and small-mindedness. Galen, a Greek philosopher, was the first man to characterize aging as a process beginning with conception. Plato, in his book Republic, referred to two important features of late life: the persistence or characteristics from earlier life and the relief of having outgrown some difficulties, including frustrated ambition. A Belgian mathematician, Quetelet, was considered to be the first gerontologist, and he had contributed a book titled On the Nature of Man and the Development of His Faculties. An English statistician, Sir Francis Galton, was perhaps the next prominent investigator in the field of aging. He was influenced by Quetelet's work, and his fundamental contribution to the study of aging was based on the data gathered by his anthropometric laboratory at the International Health Exhibition in London in 1884. After Galton, a number of researchers showed interest on the study of aging from different angles. William Barton, in his work Observation in the Process of Population and the Probabilities of the Duration of Human Life in the United States of America, he attempted to show that the people of America lived longer and were healthier than the people of Europe. The first American work was related to account of the state of the body and the mind in old age. It was published in 1973 by the physician Benjamin Rush. Now let's discuss about the theories of aging. When we try to understand the aging process, two important things that will strike our mind. First, why do we age? And second, how do we age? While the former deals with adaptability and function, later deals with mechanism involved in that. Even though aging or becoming old is a universal in all living organisms, even the man, including man, it is quite interesting to note that some people seem to age faster than the other. Why? This variation can be understood upon understanding the various theories that explain the phenomena called as aging. Current research undertakes to unlock further mysteries of the dynamics that control the natural lifespan of the human organism. Even Even though the above two hypotheses are the main drive to understand the aging phenomena, no consensus has arrived on the two. As some are fallen out of the pool while others have become widely accepted. So there are two theories that try to understand the aging process. One is called as programmed theory and another is called as as a damage theory. Program theory. Genetic theory are in place with proposes that aging is a program won by our allele covering 30% of the stake in our lifespan. Program theories function on the hypothesis that aging and health are the inevitable consequences of the working of an internal biological system. Involuntary from conception that this decides when cell can no longer operate and reproduce at a rate sufficient to maintain health. These theories work with the hypothesis that aging is an essential and innate part of the biology of the people under the control of three main systems like hormone, that is hormonal, immune and genetics. This system may change in course of individual lifespan by precipitation with aging or old age symptoms. This theory basically argues that aging and death is fixed or programmed one. The best example that can be cited for the above hypothesis is a great deal of variation in lifespan within species. Elephant die around 70 years, monkey around 25 years and tortoise around 200 years. Though environmental modification like nutrition and mental care to certain extent show variation in the life expectancy of an individual, fairly the lifespan within a species is constant. Many genes have been found to be related to aging and some have proven to life extending methods, even though their effects are quite controversial. For example, several genes involved in the metabolism of high density lipoprotein have proved to be involved in longevity. Let's discuss about the structural damage theory. Damage caused by external agent which produced irreversible reaction. The reaction which cannot be returned back to the original position or the reaction which once happened never be acquired the original form in our molecules. There are 5 important structural damage theory. First is called as wear and tear theory. Second is waste accumulation theory. Third is faulty reconstruction theory. Fourth one is error and repair theory. And the last one is called as free radical theory of damage. Radical theory which is related with aging. So damage theory highlight the damage caused by external agent which produce irreversible reaction. The reaction which cannot be returned back to the original condition. Once A is converted to B, then B never be returned back to A, whatever may be the conditions in our molecules. These changes are concerned with the molecular damage that accumulate inside the cell over some time. Damage theory of aging are based on the view that molecular component of cell over some time begin to malfunction and break down. Like in the case of wear and tear theory which was given by August Weismann, which is a German biologist, he said that the daily breakup of life in particular abuse or overuse literally wears the body out leading to the disease state. Body organs like heart, liver, kidney, pancreas and so on, they subjected to damage by toxic product out of our diet and exposed to the environment. Similarly, in the waste accumulation theory, accumulation of waste product due to normal metabolic processes which is continuously going on in the cell is the main feature of this theory. And in the case of fully reconstruction theory, body continue to exercise the repair and rebuilding of some of the molecules in the body. This theory works with the hypothesis that with the advancement of age, the repair process itself produce imperfect reconstruction leading to weakening of the cell. And in the earlier in another theory which is called as error and repair theory, according to Leslie Orgel, the machinery for making protein in the cell is so essential that an error in that machinery could be tragic. The product of protein and the reproduction of DNA sometimes are not carried out, which may be a building material. Similarly, in the case of free radical theory of aging, the free radical theory of aging, which was proposed by a Herman in 1954. Like most bold scientist theory, Herman ideas was largely ignored, even disregarded. According to Herman, such diseases are not really separate entities, but rather different form of expression of an aging process, which is influenced by genetic endowment and environmental factor. Wear and tear theory. August Weismann, a German biologist, hypothesized that the daily break-up of life, in particular abuse or overuse, literally wears the body out, leading to a disease state. Body organs like heart, liver, kidney, pancreas, etc. are subjected to damage by toxic product out of our diet and exposure to the environment. Some of the examples are increased consumption of energy-dense food, smoking, alcohol consumption, less physically demanding work besides economic and psychological stress, etc. Even under the condition, if managed by healthy diet and lifestyle, no smoking, alcohol, optimum physical activity, or advancement of age feel the effect of the destroy. In the early part of life, body repair system continue to compensate the effect of a normal and excessive wear and tear. But as age advances, body loses the ability to repair and damage caused by external agent. Thus, elderly could die or die of disease that perhaps they could have effectively encountered at their early age. Degeneration of cartilages and eventual crushing of bones on bones is an example of the aging process on body joints, as wear and tear exceed the body's ability to repair. Waste accumulation theory. Accumulation of waste product due to normal metabolic processes in the cells is the main feature of this theory. Once cell accumulate with waste product, the normal function of the cell will be impaired and the process itself will become toxic to the body. Accumulation of lipofuscin pigment is an example of this waste material. The accumulation of lipofuscin within post-mitotic cell is a recognized hallmark of aging, occurring with a rate inversely related to longevity. Lipofuscin is an intralysosomal polymeric substance, primarily composed of cross-linked protein residue formed due to iron catalyzed oxidative processes. Because it is undergradable and cannot be removed via exocytosis, lipofuscin accumulation in post-mitotic cell is inevitable, whereas proliferative cell efficiency diluted during division. Lipofuscin or lipofuse is accumulation may also diminish autophagocytosis cytic capacity by acting as a sink for newly produced lysosomal enzymes and therefore interface with recycling of a cellular component. Lipofuscin thus may be much more directly related to cellular generations at old age than was hitherto believed. Faulty reconstruction theory. In this case, body continue to exercise the repair and rebuilding of some of the molecules in the body. This theory works with hypothesis that with advancement of age, the repair process itself produces imperfect reconstruction, leading to the weakening of the cell. So here in this case, the body continued to exercise the repairing one thing and rebuilding of some of the molecules in the body. And this theory works with the hypothesis that with advancement of age, that with increase in age, the repair process itself produce imperfect reconstruction, leading to the weakening of the cell. Error and repair theory. According to Leslie Orgel, the machinery for making protein in the cell is so essential An error in that machinery could be tragic. The production of protein and the reproduction of DNA sometimes are not carried out with accuracy. The body's DNA is so vital that natural repair process kick in with when an error is made, but the system is incapable of making perfect repair on these molecules every time. Therefore, the accumulation of these faulty molecules can cause diseases and other age changes to occur. Mitochondrial damage theory. This theory guesses that cumulative damage to mitochondria and mitochondrial DNA caused by reactive oxygen species. Oxidative damage affect replication and transcription of mitochondrial DNA and result in a decline in mitochondrial function, which in turn leads to enhanced ROS, that is the reactive oxygen species production, and further damage to mitochondrial DNA. Once mitochondrial DNA are lost to the cell, they cannot be replaced, leading to a gradual but unavoidable loss of energy and function in the cell over time. Damage-based theory assumes that damage to tissue and the organs of the body eventually lead to development of degenerative diseases such as heart disease, cancer, diabetic arthritis, and many other life-ending processes. The most widely accepted structural damage theory, and the one theory that covers all of the previous theory, is the free radical theory of aging. Free radical theory of aging. The free radical theory of aging was proposed by Dr. Denham Harman in 1954. Like most bold scientific theories, Harman's idea was largely ignored, even disregarded, until several investigations in the late 1960s overwhelmingly validated his brilliant insight. According to Harman, aging occurs when cells become permanently damaged from the lifelong and unrelenting attack of a charged molecular fragment known as free radicals. The cellular damage inflicted by this uncontrolled oxidative stress inevitably spread outward to the level of a tissue and organ, where it eventually manifests itself as some form of degenerative diseases. See the two photographs. In this photograph, according to Harman, such diseases are not really separate entities, but rather different form of expression of the aging process, influenced by genetic endowment and environmental factors. An estimated 80 to 90% of all degenerative diseases are now believed to involve free radical activity. Which disease would you morally depend much on the role of the genetic risk cast upon your conception as well your individual lifestyle and lifelong dietary choices. The human lifespan simply reflects the level of free radicals damage that accumulates in cell. When enough damage accumulates, cell can't survive properly anymore and they just simply give up. Free radicals in aging or free radical theory of aging. The aging process may be produced due to the deleterious irreversible changes by free radical reactions. The rate of aging process would then be the sum of the adverse alteration produced in an organism per unit time. Deleterious changes attributed to free radicals include: first, accumulation of oxidative alteration in the long-lived molecules like collagen, elastin and chromosome. Second, breakdown of mucopolysaccharides through oxidative degeneration. Third, accumulation of metabolically inert materials such as steroid and age pigment through oxidative polymerization reaction of lipid, particularly polyunsaturated fatty acids and protein. Next, changes in membranes of organelles like mitochondria and lysosome because of a lipid per, uh, peroxidation. And the last one is arteriocapillary fibrosis secondary to vessel injury resulting from peroxidation of serum and vessel wall component. The hypothesis that free radicals are generated in excessive amount from cellular reaction or from environmental factors may cause damage to cellular membrane and other components. In a logical extension of this hypothesis, Herman has argued that such damage could accumulate metabolic problems during aging and bring about death of the organism before its natural lifespan is attained. Free radical reactions are implicated in a growing number of disorders, including the two major diseases like cancer and atherosclerosis. Free radical mediated lipid peroxidation has been proposed to be critically involved in several disease states, including cancer, arthritis, drug associated toxicity, and post ischemic reoxygenation injury, as well as in the degenerative processes that are associated with aging. Evidences has accumulated suggested that circulating lipid hydroperoxidases play a pivotal role in atherogenesis and thus coronary artery disease risk, the single most frequent cause of death in the United States and the Western world. Lipid peroxidation initiates a series of events in vitro that eventually leads to enhanced uptake of LDL by macrophages and formation of lipid-laden foam cells, one of the earliest atherosclerotic lesions in the arterial intima. Antioxidants. One of the biological changes associated with aging is an increase in free radical formation with subsequent damage to cellular processes. Several studies have investigated the free radical theory of aging and the role of antioxidants, including vitamin E, in the life expectancy. It has been suggested by Herman that vitamin E and other oxidants may increase longevity by reducing age-related diseases. The free radical reaction would be expected to produce progressive adverse changes throughout the body, and these changes more or less common to all persons to produce the normal aging pattern. The probability of developing any one of the free radical generated disease should be lowered by decreasing the free radical reaction by means of food restriction, antioxidant increase in glutathione peroxidase and superoxide dismutase, and in case of specific disease by decreasing the contributing environmental pollutant. Now let's try to summarize the important points that we have learned in these modules, or let's try to recap once again the points of these modules. As we all know that aging is a progressive accumulation of changes associated with disease and death. Aging is unequivocally universal and irreversible process. It cannot be reverted back, and it varies considerably within and between cultures. Anthropologists try to understand not only the evolutionary patterns of evolution, but also aim to know the variation differences within and between population group in terms of health, well-being and aging. Though aging or becoming old is universal in all living organisms including man, it is quite interesting to know that some people seems to age faster than the other. The variation can be understood upon understanding the various theories that explain the aging process. Important theory which try to explain the aging phenomena are programmed theory and damage theory. Program theory function on the hypothesis that aging and death are inevitably consequence of the working of an internal biological system, involuntary from the conception that decides when cell can no longer operate and reproduce at a rate sufficient to maintain good health or health. Damage theory highlight the damage caused by external agent which produce irreversible reaction in our molecules. The most widely accepted structural damage theory is free radical theories of aging. The cellular damage inflicted by uncontrolled oxidative stress inevitably spread outward to the level of tissue and organ, where it eventually manifests itself as some form of degenerative diseases. The probability of developing any one of the free radical generated disease should be lowered by decreasing the free radical reaction by means of food restriction, increase intake of antioxidant, and reduce the exposure to environmental toxicants. Thank you.